Hello grade 10s. So today we'll be doing conversions. These are the couple notes that you need that we did at the beginning of our conversions notes. So if you weren't here doing last Friday, please get these down. Either you can pause the video or get them from a classmate. So we need to do these conversions because some problems require us to put our answers or to work with the values in certain units. So I will start the examples all over again and just kind of explain things all over again so that we're really clear on what we need to do. Alright, so for example, say we have to put 270 milliliters into liters. Well, we look at our data sheet and we see which factor the base unit is multiplied by. So here I look and I find my milla or my milli, and it says times 10 to the power of -3. So to get from here to here, I simply times by 10 to the power of -3. And my answer is 0.270 liters. It's important that I put that 0 on the end because I need 3 significant digits in my answer. From now on, when you put in your answers, they assume they always need to be in significant digits. So that's a simple way to do it, or we can set up a ratio. Now, even if you don't like to do the ratio method, I still want you to learn it because when we get to more complex questions, the ratio method is easier to use. So when we're setting up our ratio, we put 1 milliliter. So whatever that is not the base unit, you set as 1. So I have 1 milliliter. For every 1 milliliter, I have 1 times 10 to the -3 liters, because this was from my data sheet. Because remember, my liters is my common base unit. So in order to change it into milliliters, I need times 10 to the -3. So this is my ratio to compare milliliters and liters. I equal that to 270 milliliters over X liters. I'm trying to find out how many liters is in 270 milliliters. So I'm using this ratio to compare and understand what's going on. As we talked about before, you cross multiply and solve for X. So now if I was to rewrite this after a cross multiplication, X liters multiplied by 1 milliliter is equal to 270 milliliters multiplied by 1 times 10 to the -3 liters. I want to get the X all by itself, so right now it is multiplied by 1 milliliter. So to get rid of the 1 milliliter, I must divide by 1 milliliter. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. So these cancel out. My milliliters here cancel out and I'm left with liters. So if you put this into your calculator, 270 multiplied by 10 to the -3, you will get the same answer as we concluded there, 0.270 liters. So this is method number 2, we'll call it. Let's call this method 1. And there's one more method. So if you just simply look and see, you know that for every 1 milliliter, there is 1 times 10 to the -3 liters. This is saying move the decimal place back 3 spots to make a smaller value. So if I start with 270 milliliters and I want to make liters, I move my decimal place back 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. So now I have 0.270 liters. In each method, I get the same answer. I want you to be familiar and aware of all 3 methods, but it's up to you what you choose to use on a more daily basis. It depends how your brain works, how you like to think about these problems. Everyone's a little bit different, so just choose what works for you. Let's do another example. So example number 2. So say I have 2.3 kilometers and I want to convert that into meters. So method 1. I look at my data sheet. I look at kilo, okay? And compare it to my base unit. This is my base unit, is meters. So comparatively, kilo is times 10 to the power of 3. So to go from kilometers to meters, I just need to multiply 10 to the power of 3. When you do that, you put that into your calculator. And you will get 2,300 meters. Which makes sense because we know there's more meters in 1 kilometer. So method number 2. So this is setting up our ratio. So say I set that I have 1 kilometer. For every 1 kilometer, I have 1 times 10 to the 3 meters. This is equal to 2.3 kilometers over x meters, is what I'm trying to find out. Again, to solve for x, we cross multiply. To solve for x, so I'll rewrite it out. So 2.3 kilometers multiplied by 1 times 10 to the 3 meters is equal to 1 kilometer multiplied by x meters. X meters right now is multiplied by 1 kilometer, so I divide by 1 kilometer, divide by 1 kilometer. These cancel out, these units cancel out, and I'm left with meters. So as you see here, we are still doing the same mathematical procedure in the end of taking 2.3 and multiplying it by 10 to the power of 3 meters. So now our x is equal again to 2,300 meters. Oh, hold on a second. I need to put this into SIGDIGs. I have 2 SIGDIGs, so this means I need to put this into scientific notation. So the actual correct final answer is 2.3 times 10 to the 3 meters. That is my final answer. Yep, sorry I forgot about that when we were doing method 1. But yes, you must put into SIGDIGs. Okay, and method number 3. So say we start with our 2.3 kilometers. So I know that for every 1 kilometer, I have 10 to the power of 3 meters. This is meaning move the decimal place to the right 3 spots to get a larger number. So if I do that, here I go 1, 2, 3. I fill these spots. So now I have 2,300 meters. Again, sig digs, it's 2.3 times 10 to the 3 meters. Okay, so this should be starting to kind of feel familiar to you. Okay, now I'm going to do a different type of question that involves 2 steps. So example number 3. I'm only going to show the fraction method for this one. Say we have 35 hectometers, and I want to put that into millimeters. Well, look at your data sheet. When we see this, we have hectometers, and then we have decameters, and then we have the base unit, and then after that is decimeters, and centimeters, and then millimeters. All of these things are compared to the base unit. So I cannot make a fraction that just compares hectometers to millimeters with this given data sheet. So I need to do 2 steps. I need to find out, compare hectometers to my meters, and then compare my meters to my meters. 2 steps. So, step 1. So, I have 1 hectometer for every 1 times 10 to the 2 meters. This is equal to 35 hectometers over x meters. Again, we cross multiply and solve for x. So what we'll be doing is going 35 times 10 to the power of 2. So x will equal 3,500 meters. I don't need to put that into sig digs because I do not have my final answer yet. Only do sig digs for your final answers. Okay, so now I have my meters. So that's my step 1 I just did. I just compared hectometers to my base unit. But my question asked me to put it into millimeters. So now I'm doing step 2. So now I have 1 millimeter is equivalent to 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters. This is equal to x millimeters divided by 3,500 meters. That was my answer from here. So again, we cross multiply and solve for x. So now my, I'll just write out the cross multiplication. 3,500 meters times by 1 millimeter is equal to 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters multiplied by x millimeters. Right now, x is multiplied by 1 times 10 to the 3, so I need to get rid of that. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. These cancel, and I'm left with x. So now, 3,500 meters divided by 10 to the power of negative 3 meters into your calculator, you should get x is equal to 3,500,000. And this is all millimeters. So we need to put this into sig digs. We need 2 sig digs. So 3.5 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 millimeters. That's our answer. So, and please just ask them, the sub, to pause at any point if you need a little bit more time, or rewind at any spot you would like to. Okay, the last example is converting kilometers per hour into meters per second. This can be a long process, but I'm going to give you a trick, okay? So, if you're converting kilometers per hour into meters per second, you simply just, I should double check this before I say it. You divide by 3.6. So say for example, and then to go the other way, so if we were going meters per second into kilometers per hour, you multiply by 3.6. Now, as I said, I could teach you the long way to do this, but if you memorize this, it will be much easier for you in like Physics 20 and Chem 20, etc. So, for example, I have 75 kilometers per hour, and I want to convert that into meters per second. I simply divide by 3.6, and I have 20.83 meters per second. This needs to be in sig dig, so my answer is 21 meters per second. So now you should please be able to do the conversion practice. For those that were away on Friday, right now you will be doing your quiz for sig digs. And your conversion practice worksheet is for homework. It is due tomorrow. If you have any questions or concerns, though, we will go over the whole worksheet tomorrow, but please make sure that it is done for homework.